Hi guys and welcome back to How to Plan a City. In today's episode, I just want to point out firstly that I have removed this road that I did for the first tutorial. Yes, I know. That is still under there, buried alive. But anyway, today's episode is going to be all about building the exterior of the house. Now, some of you guys that don't know what that word means, it is the outside of your house. Now, this should be pretty easy and it shouldn't take too long, and I'm just going to run through the basics with you. So if you have a plan like I do, as you can see, we've got a pretty simple floor plan set up. Then what you can do is work around that. And speaking of colours, if we have any type of colour, white is always a colour that will go with it. Unless it's like a really wacky, crazy colour. And in fact, most of the time, white is a pretty well contrasting colour. So, if we get some quartz stairs, and in fact, first, let me forget I even got those out of my inventory. Let's just stay with the light blue terracotta. Now, let's build this up, and we're about to see how boring this looks without any of the details that we're going to add in later on in today's video. By the way guys, so the reason I did actually get rid of the road over there, this is going to be turned into a how to build a city series. For now it's going to be how to plan a city, or how to start a city. Sorry. And once we've finished doing the basics of how to start a city, then we will move on to how to build a city, keeping on with the numerical order. And hopefully this should go on for a good while, as long as I keep up with building and try and not let other stuff get to my head and forget to record and stuff like that. Oops. Okay. So moving on to the last floor here, we're going to do exactly the same as we've done with the other floors, and then I'm going to show you how much nicer it looks with a little bit of detail. And how boring it looks just on its own. Okay, so we're about to be done here. Alright, perfect. So this house, although it might look impressive because it's tall, it isn't the nicest looking of houses in the world, is it? So what can we do to improve it? Well, there's multiple steps we're going to go through. The first one is windows. As you can see, we've already got our main windows marked out. Now we want to add more windows, and I recommend going for a black stained glass because the regular glass is a little bit too transparent. So let's put in the glass into the window frames. And then you can see down here I have marked out a little area of where another window should be. So we're going to put another window there and cover that up, and then put another window here. And we're going to do the same all the way up. So as you can see already, just having more windows makes this place look a lot more less boxy and more shapeful. And that's another thing people will go wrong. They won't just straight up. They will just straight up build a box, and sometimes that isn't quite what you're looking for. Now here, as you can see, I've marked out a larger window, so we're going to put in a larger window. Just like that, and it should be perfect. And then the same on top of that, but below that obviously is the door, so we're not going to want to put a window there. just for now at least. Okay, so just having these windows has touched up this place a lot more. It looks a lot nicer like this, and I think most of you will agree that it looks a lot better than it did when we first started. Now, what can we do to give it more detail? Let's see. Well, quartz stairs will add a lot to it. So just by adding a rim of upside down quartz stairs underneath the windows. Oh, sorry, I marked out another window here. Before we continue with the quartz stairs step, let's put in the windows, because that is very important to stick with your plan. Okay, there we go. And now we can continue with adding a rim of quartz stairs around the outside. Looking good, looking good. And there we go. So we have a full rim going around the outside, and that looks a lot nicer, doesn't it? Now, what else can we do? Well, most houses have a drain pipe. In fact, all houses have to have a drain pipe. So we're going to add one of those just simply by using cobblestone walls. We can build that all the way down to there. And then the simple way to do it, which is the one with the most detail, is just to get a mob cage and a bucket of water, and as well some mossy stone bricks. Dig down to. Then around there, put some mossy bricks. Then the water inside, and then what we can do here also is just get some regular stone bricks, put them in there, then a mob cage on the top. And I think all of you have to agree that that looks a lot nicer. Also, another thing we can do as well, which will make this look a bit nicer, is we can put a rim of stone, brick and brick stairs coming around the side of it, just like that. And then once again, we're going to want to get that stone brick and put it in there. Okay, so what else can we do to the house to improve it? Well, firstly, we need to fix that. Perfect. And then, well, let's get some bone meal, and we can put a bit of grass and some flowers in the front. Doesn't make it look overgrown, it just gives that a little bit more detail, and most people will agree that that looks a bit nicer. Okay, so far the house is looking pretty snazzy. Not looking too great from the side though. So what you might want to do for these larger windows in the house is just get some quartz pillars, if I can find them. Can't remember where they are. There we go. So get some quartz pillars and just put those either side. Okay. So as you can tell, that looks a lot nicer. Now let's move on to actually building the door. I accidentally got that out of my inventory. We're going to want that back, and then we are going to want to do some pillar quartz there, pillar quartz there. And actually let's build it out to the outside as well. We'll put a quartz stair in there. And then a slab there. And then, of course, we've got to have a window above the door. It's your choice for what colour you want, but once again, I would recommend black. So that will look quite nice. And because you don't want too much of light colours inside of your light colour, I recommend going for the dark oak door, because that does look the most homely also. So let's also get this brick and we can put it in there. Another thing that might bug some people as well is just this little bit here that isn't covered, so what we can do is just put some more pillar quartz blocks there, and that looks good from the outsides too. And then same here, once again we can build this up, and that just gives it that little bit more detail, doesn't it? Okay, so now we are going to move on to the roof, and a lot of you beginners out there are just going to be like, oh, let's build a pyramid for a roof. No, you're not going to want to do that. Now, there's a few different designs we could do for the roof, but this is one of my personal favourites for this style of house. Let's once again get a quartz rim, but we're not going to put in the corners this time. It's literally just going to be a rim. Okay, coming across, coming across. Alright, we are at the other side. Now here we're going to have nether brick stairs and nether brick slabs for the corner. And now we are going to switch alternately between upside down and regular stairs to fill out the roof. And once I've built this, I will show you one more thing to do, and we can take a look at this from the outside and see what this looks like. Now this bit you're just going to want to put stairs like that, and then once again we are going to come around here and then do upside down stairs, regular stairs, upside down, regular, regular, upside down. You see where I'm going with this? And then we're going to want some stone slab as well, but first we're going to want to put quartz slabs on top of all this, just to touch it up, just to finish it off, and just to give it that much more detail. And then, as you can see, that looks pretty nice, doesn't it? You gotta admit that looks pretty good. And then one more thing we can do is just get some stone brick, and this can be our roof block. So let's lay this across here. Should be good, should be perfect, and should be functional and nice. Then iron bars, and once again we're going to come down here and pick block the cobblestone. And one thing I do recommend doing is having a little satellite antenna just coming off the side of your build, just to give it that little bit more detail. Once again, we're all about detail here. See, that makes it look just that little bit better from down here. And now what we can do is two final steps that I do like to add to my builds is firstly some solar panels, which we're only going to do one row of them. If you're going to do a larger building, then you're going to want about 3 rows of these. Where is the daylight sensor? There it is. We've got a daylight sensor, we're going to set this to a moonlight sensor. And in my opinion that looks pretty good. And then one more thing that we can do is get that, some, not powered rails, some regular rails, and some andesite and a button. So andesite and button in the middle, stone all around, and then rails around that. You see that? That looks good, doesn't it? Now here we are with the outside of our first house in Minecraft. Now if you guys did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a like and let me know what you want me to do next. Obviously in the next video we're going to be doing the interior, and then in the next video after that let me know what you want next to this. Whether you want a copy of that done off camera with a different colour just so you can see what it looks like, or anything really. Just leave your suggestions down in the comments and I will be sure to get to them. But anyway, I'm going to end this video off now guys, so thank you very, very much for watching. I will see you next time for part number 4. Thank you guys, see you next time.